Today, September 8th, 2020, I, Maya Hill, the interviewee, will be interviewing Mr. Theodore Thompson, location Zoom. This interview is for the project of the Black Student Alumni Oral History. So welcome, Mr. Thompson. So glad that you could, take the time to be interviewed yet again for
That's my
this
pleasure.
project. Yes. So just to jump right into the questions that we have for today, can you just explain where you're from and when you were born?
Okay. I was born in 1947, back in the old days. Initially grew up in a little community called Darby, Pennsylvania, which is right near West Philadelphia. Lived there until I was about third grade. And then from there, moved to another small community called Darby Township, which technically was Sharon Hill, but because it was the Black section of Sharon Hill, they only referred to us as Darby Township. So I lived there until about seventh grade. And from eighth grade until I graduated from Penn State, I lived in Yeadon, Pennsylvania, again, small suburb of West Philadelphia. All three of these towns, the sections where I lived was predominantly, if not exclusively, Black. At the time, it seemed to me upwardly mobile, middle class, but from a child's eye, everyone seemed middle class. Good times, growing up in the 50s and the 60s, went through the typical things that were going on in the 50s and 60s. Couldn't sit at a counter at Woolworths without someone staring at you. Some resistance to, just Black people at the time. But we were kind of a attitude that we felt we were as entitled as anyone else to all of the benefits that life had to offer. For instance, when I lived in Darby Township, we used to go to the Media Courthouse. Media was the county seat for Delaware County. And my sixth grade teacher took us there, and we saw how they did jury selection. And then we came back to the classroom and we played jury, judge, jury, lawyers, etc. And that's where I got my first, interest in going into law. And that from sixth grade on, I wanted to be a lawyer. When I moved to Yeadon, the typical high school stuff, you played football and you go to the dances and you have your friends. Yeadon was an interesting community. The section of Yeadon where I lived and grew up was predominantly Black. We had our own swim club because the Yeadon Swim Club was a white swim club and they wouldn't allow any Black participants. So prior to my moving into Yeadon, a group of the residents got together, bought land, built the first Black private swim club in the country. And it's still in existence now, the Nile Swim Club. So, naturally we felt we were as entitled to anyone else. In growing up through Yeadon, the academics were very strong among all the students. We just knew that we were expected to go beyond high school, whether it be in a business profession, a vocational, or college. So I was in what at that time they called college prep. My history teacher, Mr. Marsden, got me interested in going to Penn State. So for no reason other than I liked him as a history teacher, I figured, okay, I'll go for Penn State. I had no idea what Penn State was all about back in 1964, 65. I applied to Penn State. My guidance counselor at the high school, you can look it up, but leave her name unmentioned, didn't think I would get into Penn State. So I only applied to Penn State, got accepted, got a scholarship, which worked out to be the equivalent of a full scholarship. So I had a full scholarship to Penn State from Yaden High School. In Yaden High School, I was a senior class president, but when you're in a high school and there's only 67 kids in your graduating class, it's a very, I mean, almost everyone could fit in your basement for a party. So there are friends that I met up at Penn State where they had 2,000 and 3,000 in their graduating class. So having such a small, tight-knit community for high school graduate was significant, because of the 67, I would say half or a third were Black. So my circle of Black friends was even smaller than the 67 from high school. You know, we had friends in other communities, but so we were a pretty tight-knit group. You know, we didn't venture far and wide. You may occasionally go into West Philadelphia, or you may occasionally go up to Germantown, or you might go to Ardmore, Lower Marion, but you didn't venture far and wide. So you had, you know, a limited number of friends, and your exposure to different things was kind of dictated by that. So that was the beginnings of my growing up. Other than my mother was involved with the NAACP, and she used to take me to wars to go sit at the counter. So I would get refused, and why would I have to do that? So that was the beginning of kind of a civil involvement of my mother. We would picket the local movie theater where they were showing Birth of a Nation, which was a very racist movie made by I think it was D.W. Griffith or something like that, back in 1915, glamorizing slavery, etc. So she used to push me out front. You know, you go and carry the picket sign. You walk around in the circle, or you go sit at the lunch counter in media. So I you know, that's kind of where I got the taste of, okay, well, as long as they don't hit me, but no one did hit me. But you know, you felt kind of not fearful, but kind of anxious. What are these people all upset about? I mean, my quarter is just as good as anyone else's quarter for that little watered down soda. So, you know, what are you getting all upset about that I'm sitting here at the counter? So, you know, that along with, we felt in Yaden, we were getting the best education possible, that we didn't hold second to anyone. We just knew that we were top notch. Among ourselves, we knew it, and among our peers and other communities, we knew it. So we didn't feel that we should be denied anything that we went after. And for the most part, none of us were. I mean, we're a very aggressive, assertive, self-assured bunch of kids back in the mid 60s. So, you know, it was a fun time. We didn't see a lot of the negative things that were going on elsewhere in the South, et cetera, but we were aware of it. So
going to Penn State, did anyone in your family, like your mother or any of your family members, attend college or of the vocational schooling before you attended college, or were you first generation? And how did that shape your college experience?
I know my uncle, my father's brother, was the first to get admitted to Notre Dame in the 40s, Fraser Thompson. And I know my Uncle Gil went to college because he was a teacher in Philadelphia. I don't know of anyone prior to my having gone to college. I mean, my aunts were working for the government in various secretarial, clerical kind of positions. The men in the family did work at Westinghouse, which was a big manufacturing turbine company in Leicester, Pennsylvania. Matter of fact, just about all my uncles and my father and my grandfathers all worked there. So it was like almost a family reunion with them going to work. But that was a very well-paid union job. So they were definitely making money, middle class level. So, and everyone was, positive and upward bound, and enjoyed life.
Okay. So when you got to Penn State your freshman year, what year was that? And then what did you get involved with your freshman year, knowing that your mom kind of pushed you when you were younger to be the leader that you ended up becoming in your time at Penn State? So how did you, make your footing and your place at Penn State your freshman year?
Well, the freshman year, I got admitted to the main campus, and apparently getting admitted to main campus for your freshman year was supposedly an accomplishment that I think a lot of the first and second year students went to the various Commonwealth campuses. So getting admitted to the main campus was apparently significant. I lived up in East Halls, which was the furthest living region on campus. When I lived there, I was the first one to move into one of the 4 10-story towers. So that, along with the other dorms in East Halls, we had a student population that I think was in the thousands. Some say maybe about 4,000 in East Halls. So it was like its own little city. And just being away from home for the first time, meeting people from everywhere. I mean, I met people from Reading. I met people from Aliquippa. I met people from Wind Gap. I mean, all these names that I only saw on a map. And you try to fit in. You try to deal with your classes. Here I was in East Halls, and one of my first period 8 o'clock class was down at the Sackett building, which was diagonally the furthest thing from East Halls as possible. I don't know how far, maybe it might have been a mile or two.
Yeah.
And you try to make that at an 8 o'clock class. So there were those adventures going across what used to be parking lot 80. But my initial year at Penn State in the dorm was just kind of get to know myself, find other Black folks on campus. One of my next door neighbor was a Black guy who was already in a fraternity. So, I kind of gravitated with him to the fraternity house for parties, etc. And then that's how I gradually began to meet everyone else, and there's more of us. But at the time, there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, I don't know what the actual number is, but it felt like it was only 200 to 250 students out of maybe 30,000 or so at the time on campus. But at that time, we had the 3 Black fraternities and the 2 Black sororities, and that was our life. Whoever had a party, most of us went and just had a good time. So the involvement didn't begin until later on, after I had pledged and got accepted into the fraternity. But you just kind of lived your life, because back then, instead of the semester system that they have now, they had the 10-week term system. So you had 3 terms instead of 2 semesters. So you could squeeze a lot of classes into that 10-week period. And you tried to take as many different kinds of classes as you could, because the classes were only, I believe, 45 minutes each. So you could squeeze a lot of classes in. Just then you begin to realize then there's going to be a lot of homework. So you had to kind of trim it back a little bit. But it was fun. It was interesting, and you got to meet a lot of people doing those kind of things. So my first year was pretty much the routine freshman first year.
What can you tell us your major and how you selected that major?
Well, the major, I was in the College of Liberal Arts, and my major was political science, which I didn't want to do the generic pre-law. So I figured political science sounds fancy. I had no idea what it was. And I figured I'll either go to law school or go to grad school, one or the other. So I took political science, which was one way of learning a lot of governmental things, policies and procedures, and other countries' way of governing themselves. My advisor was a specialist in the Soviet Union, Dr. Aspatorian, who's apparently was world renowned. So I took, a number of courses under him dealing with the Soviet Union and their style of governing. And then also learned a lot about the British form of government in addition to our own, with various constitutional law professors. So it was an interesting 4 years. And because I realized I'd be doing a lot of talking, writing, I took a lot of English courses and reading and some speech courses, because that's what a lawyer would do, and tried to mix all that together.
So what were the classroom settings like? An incoming freshman, how did you find your placement in each and every classroom, knowing that you would possibly be, or most likely be, the only one in the classroom?
For the most part, as I recall, I was, whether it be in the forum, which was a huge auditorium type setting, or the smaller classrooms, might be 10 or 15 or 20 kids. I would typically be the one or one other then. You just went to class, took your notes, and moved on. If there was another in the class, you would eventually gravitate and get to know each other because you would see each other at the parties, etc. But you didn't necessarily pick classes because of who you thought would be in it. And you kind of not so much keep to yourself, you're kind of introverted. There's always going to be the ones who raise their hand and answer all the questions. And there's going to be the ones who kind of sit back and just take notes. I tried to sit back and just take notes because I didn't want to give a wrong answer, because then I really would stand out. But just the typical student involvement of a classroom, of avoiding eye contact with the teacher, writing down everything, and maybe go to the teacher or professor's office once during the entire time, but that's about it.
Okay, that sounds like a yeah, like you said, your typical college student. I think I found myself in those places several times. Like, please don't call on me. I don't want to answer, but sometimes that kind of worked against me. I was always, once a professor just calling you, like, I didn't even know you knew my name out of 100 people. Like, how did you even know my name? Like,
Yeah.
But you just kind of bear through it. You get a wrong answer, you still, you kind of just, I guess you suck it up and just kind of keep moving forward.
You have to sometimes.
Being that even now that a lot of Penn State classes, and even classes that I took freshman year, there was just me in the classroom. I'm just like, all right, I don't want to say the wrong answer, like you said, because I don't want, people already are probably questioning, like, how did you get here? Or, are you good enough to be here? Like, all of these different questions. And of course, I'm like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. And, I got here just how you got here.
Right.
But that pressure of still feeling like you had to work all the more harder to, compete with these people who may not even be as smart as you. And you're like, you begin to question. So I do understand that. But one more thing about your freshman year experience, you mentioned that you ran for congressman for East Hall, or was that sophomore year?
It must have been the beginning of my sophomore year. And then from there, in the spring term, I ran for vice president, because the elections for congressman would be in the beginning of the school year. And then the vice president and president elections would be later in the spring to begin then, but to go over the summer and into the fall of the next year. So I ran for Congress must have been the beginning of my sophomore year.
So in that position, what changes did you see yourself making in East Hall and for the students there? And then also, did anyone kind of convince you to run for that position, or did you run for it like willingly and you kind of just?
I don't recall how it occurred. It was almost, well, why don't you kind of thing, you know, why don't you do something about this? And why don't they do something about that? Well, why don't you do something about it? And you know, all you got to do is get X number of names on a petition to get on the ballot. So I think it was something along those lines as opposed to some drive on my part. I just think more than just one of those dare things. I think it was, there's some things that I thought should be happening that wasn't happening, and others would just kind of nudge me forward and say, why don't you go ahead, you try it, you speak up. So I think it occurred like that. So I don't think it was any master plan. None of it actually was a master plan. Things just kind of happened. But yeah, I got elected to be a congressman in my sophomore year. I lived in the dorms for 3 years. I love being up in East Halls. So I lived in the dorm for 3 years. A lot of my friends, after their first year, you know, got an apartment downtown, etc. I like being able to get up, go to the Finley building where breakfast and lunch and dinner was served, and have it already there, you know, and I know what they were doing for each day, and that was it. I didn't want to have to worry about cooking or cleaning or nothing until, you know, my senior year. I had to kind of venture out and grow up. But so that I found quite satisfying, you know. So, you know, so my sophomore year was, I guess, the beginning of my starting to do certain things.
Okay, so after I kind of want to touch on your involvement in fraternity or Black Greek life.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us what fraternity you ended up joining, and then also how you decided to be a part of, you know, a fraternity in Greek life? Like, what was it that appealed to you most about, you know, the social life or the community? It was even mentioned in one of the, you know, other interviews that being a part of a Black Greek fraternity or sorority was as if it was a survival for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Black students.
Yeah.
So in that sense, like, what was it for you? Like, what did you make out of it?
Well, like I mentioned, my next door neighbor, when I first came to Penn State, was Black. He was a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. And that's how I got introduced to Kappa Alpha Psi, through him. And that's who I pledged and crossed the sands with in the spring of 1967. So in the spring of my freshman year. It was survival. I don't know if it was a survival thing. It was just like a natural community thing. There were the Kappas, there was the Alphas, and then there were the Qs, you know, the Omega Psi Phi, and then Deltas and the AKAs. And they each had, at that particular time, certain personalities. They were all like, the Kappas were just, you know, the Kappas are Kappas, but the Alphas were smart. The Alpha, I mean, that might be a stereotype by me, but I thought those guys were all smart. The Qs had a good time, you know. Now, I don't know if you may want to edit this out or not, but in the Black Panther movie, the guys who didn't join with the different society and they stayed away, and how they came out and they were like woofing. That's just how the Qs were. But they had your back if you ever needed them. And then, you know, the Deltas and the AKs were just our sweethearts. so everyone had their own little personality, and then we all got along. It was because back then, back in the 60s, there was all kinds of neighborhood tensions, gang wars and all that stuff. But none of that existed up on campus. But back in your hometown in Philadelphia and in Pittsburgh and Aliquippa, you know, there was these neighborhood feuds. But once it was us against them, there was no neighborhood feud, which was interesting because when we would come back home during the summer or during breaks, and we would go to visit our friends in West Philly or up in Germantown or what have you, you know, all those kind of hesitations just dissipated. So college was very, very positive for all of us in that respect. But it was an enjoyable community because there wasn't a party every weekend, but when there was a party, you could count on at least half of the population being there. I don't care how big or small the house was or how big or small the suite was, because the AKs and Deltas only had, you know, their suites in McElldrew and the Simmons Hall. So they could only accommodate so many, but half of the population was there at least, you know, or waiting to get in, you know. So it was very enjoyable.
It sounds like a good time. It sounds like it was a good social experience. But
Yep.
just to transition over to student activism and your role in that, how did your you know, your fraternity brothers or you know, support you in your endeavors of going forth and taking the position of or running for vice president of student government at the time in your junior year, and then running for president in your senior year?
Well, they didn't do an obvious backing, but you know, they gave me the attaboy support in the background because the on-campus politics was a bit different than the civil rights, black versus white, not enough black students politics. So mine was a more general involvement, leadership type of thing versus like Rick Collins. Rick was laser focused on the Douglas Association and the demands for black students. So I would say I was more general, he was more specific. I might have been more moderate, where he was at different times more aggressive. And sometimes they tried to play us against each other, and I wouldn't let them. I would let them know that I backed what Rick was all about, because Rick had my best interest at heart. Even though I may not be able to articulate it in the same manner and as well, I believe in what he says, and it's well-founded in the complaints that he was bringing to their attention. And sometimes they would try to, well, we'll have a meeting, we'll have to set up a study. No. We know what the problem is. The problem is easy to identify. What you need to do is fix it. What you need to do is just do it. Increase enrollment or provide funding for some particular program or class. Don't do a study about it, because there's 1,300 other universities in the country doing the same thing. Get their book and bring it here. So we had those kind of discussions when I was participating from a student government level with the administration and the board of trustees, because they would try to play me against Rick, and I wouldn't let them do that. I don't know if Rick even knew that, but I didn't believe in that divide and conquer kind of thing. And they did play games because there were different promises that they had made on doing certain things that they intentionally reneged on. And looking back and going through newspaper articles, etc., I said, they sure did get us on, they suckered up, punched us on that one. They were supposed to do something at a football game, and they says, Oh, well, we forgot to turn the electricity on. That's why the microphone didn't work. You knew daggone well you didn't turn the electric on, and that's why the microphone wouldn't work. So when they were giving a speech at halftime, no one heard what he was saying. They did those kind of things. So it was always a fight. It was here we are, 18, 19, 20-year-olds against these 40, 50, 60-year-old PhDs. There was one particular administrator that I always had a fight with. He was the vice president for student affairs. Mm-hmm. I forget his last name, but his first name is Charles. I forget his last name. I used to call him Chucky, because I figured if I could diminish him in my eyes, and he would know how much I really didn't respect him, it would kind of get him going. So I used to call him Chucky every time I would be interviewed by the Daily Collegian. And I would occasionally let it slip when I'm at a meeting with him. Chucky, Mr. Dr. Such and so. Because he was one of those little ruthless little administrators that's why you take over a building. They would just drive you crazy. I lost my train of thought.
No, you're answering the question quite well. So I guess you touched on two things, and I guess I'll mention this one first. And taking on, like, were you a part of the sit-in in the Shields building?
I don't remember the Shields building. I know we took over Old Main a whole bunch of times.
Okay,
but I don't
Old
remember,
Main.
Yeah.
Okay, I know they had one in the Shields building for another Commonwealth campus, but okay, so I'll retract that thought. So when you ran as vice president, being vice president is, it's a starting track to get in there, but you can always play in the background in being vice president in a sense. So did you face any pushback when you were running for a university position, whether it be from students or professors or administrators? And did you face any of those things, like administrators coming out and saying, like, of course they're not going to come out and directly say, we don't want him to be, the president, or students, but indirectly doing things that will make you note, they don't want me in this position, being that you were one of the first or the first, president, African-American president in an SGA position?
Well, I didn't sense any opposition in that sense on running for vice president. Because I had to do what everyone else did. I had to go to all the dorm areas and knock on doors and do the flyers and do the little speeches and what are you going to do for us kind of thing. I didn't sense any direct opposition, say on a racial basis. They may have disagreed with my positions on student rights and what I thought the administration should or shouldn't do. So I didn't get anything directly that way. And plus, I was heavily supported by East Halls. From my point of view, they loved me at East Halls because I had, again, because it is so far away from the rest of the world, I had gotten a store up there, a store where they could buy notebook paper and candy bars, and it's like a little mini store that no other residential area had. Ours was the only one that had this room set aside with all this stuff. So we were the envy of the campus. And it took a while to get it. And I don't know, I presume it's probably still not there now, but it was not favored by the McClanahans of the world, the old store down there on
it's still
College
there.
Avenue. Is it still there?
I worked there.
Oh, did you? Was it right next to the pizza place?
I don't think it's wait, maybe.
Well, as you come down, I forget the name of the road, and then right on the corner was McClanahan. Okay.
It's still right there. It's still
okay.
On
Now,
the
right
corner.
next to it, you see either a pizza place or a pinball arcade. Used to be an
No,
arcade. That's gone.
no. I
But
don't know if Babies is still there. The front
that was
that
that's
wasn't there
way
before.
before
Oh,
after my time.
oh, okay, yeah. Well, a lot of things have changed, but
Okay,
it's
yeah,
McClanahan that's still there.
okay, yeah, they didn't like it at all because that was taking a student population of 4,000 kids away from them, even on just a little notebooks and pens and papers and candy bars. Um, so, yeah, so I had a lot of support from East Halls, and I had to kind of work my way over to North Halls and West Halls. I didn't do South Halls because at that time, South Halls was all female and basically all the sorority females. So I don't think I even bothered to do South Halls because I didn't think I would be so-called favored or invited in. And I did, the Pollock area. So I felt I had a lot of support, even though as I recall, the campaign was kind of rough. They were a little rough on what the issues were, but I didn't detect any racial thing, which could have been going on in the background. It just never got to me.
So, when you got to the president position your senior year, can you tell us, or can you explain what your campaign slogan was, and what were some of the things that you wanted to kind of change or enforce, and what were some of the things that the students wanted at the time?
Well, again, that era in the later 60s, Vietnam was going on. A lot of anti-war protest was going on. There were student factions on the left and on the right. They didn't get physical. They would just yell at each other. We suspected the administration was doing underhanded things. We suspected they were involved in military research. I guess we were a little paranoid. we thought they were doing all kinds of nefarious things. So we would protest any industrial funded research that we thought could have some military application. There used to be a thing called the water tunnel. I don't know if actually that was involved in military research, but we conjured up an image that it was testing things for the military. We didn't think that there was enough human things going on as far as research, because Penn State is one of the land-grant colleges like Michigan State and Ohio State. We felt there should have been more human research involvement going on. So we were all part of that particular protest, along with, again, we're talking about going into the latter 60s when you had the assassination of Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy. We just thought everything was just going to blow up. We just thought this was the end of the world coming real quick. So we better get our protests in now and try to straighten this stuff up. So protests like what's going on nowadays, they've been protesting for 100 days. We've been protesting for years ongoing. Just a little story. There was this one guy, we used to call him Button Man. He would make buttons for any slogan that you want. I don't know if he had a little machine, and he would just stamp out these little slogans on these buttons. I think that's how he worked his way through college. He just sell these buttons for $0.25 each, and for any protest that you want. So that was going on the mall, going up to Old Main. You sit along the wall, so there'd be all kinds of little banners along the wall. So we were protest almost anything. And when the Douglas Association was bringing its stuff to the fore, I think we caught them by surprise. What do you have to be complaining about? Well, as you know, there was a list of grievances and demands that we made that we felt were very legitimate, timely, and should be addressed by the administration promptly. we got real good at it. We had a legislator out of Harrisburg. He was the Speaker of the House at the time, K. Leroy Irvis. He was one bad dude. He didn't play. He would come up to campus sometimes. He would get in the president's face. He would say, "You don't respond to these kids properly, your funding might get jeopardized." He didn't say that directly, but the implication was he would make Harrisburg, make the university listen to us better than they had in the past. So we had those kind of things going on. So it was an education. I mean, it was political science all day long.
Can you describe one or two of the, major protests that you were involved in, and how that kind of made an impact on, your college experience and your outlook of what it was to be, someone, a leader of your community, and what it was to be an activist, a voice for a whole body of individuals? That's a heavy task.
I mean, being deemed or categorized as a leader is that's a little heavy. I would have ideas. There were a couple of Old Main sit-ins that were dramatic. I don't know the particular dates, but I remember it was cold. So it had to have been during the winter term, which would have been sometime January into February. It might have been the infamous either 68 or 69 timeframe. And it might have been tying in with the different demands that the Dulles Association put forth. But I remember we took over Old Main a couple times. They would always threaten to do this, that, and the other with us, and they never did. The only time they actively did something was when they had the state troopers come up. They had them housed over at Beaver Stadium, and they arrested some students, which it never really happened before. So it was very dramatic and traumatizing to know that some of your friends just got arrested. So that was interesting. I mean, and again, it all stemmed with the complaints that we had about the student population, different courses of study, funding, etc. So, and their reluctance and giving in on any of that kind of stuff. I know that, as an aside, when you get elected to different things, you also get invited to be in certain things. So I was invited to be in Skull and Bones. I was invited to be in Lion's Paw, which are little so-called secret senior societies. Lion's Paw, I think there was 10 at the time, members, would meet in a little secret room in Old Main. And we had a key to Old Main. So whenever they would do a protest and take over Old Main, I could just go up to the 4th floor and wait until it was all over. So I wouldn't have to worry about getting arrested. But no, that never happened. But yeah, I remember we didn't like trash Old Main. I remember we took over all the 1st and 2nd floor because I think they locked all the doors so you couldn't go up any beyond that. And we did a lot of protesting out in front on the lawn, the Old Main lawn. It never got heated. I mean, there might have been a couple finger pointing, but it never ever got heated like you see nowadays. And we would do the speech, and if someone might do a counter speech a little bit, and after a while, everyone would just kind of drift away and go over to the hub and get a soda. So the protesting at Penn State was not as hard-nosed as other campuses because, you know, we were in Happy Valley and stuff didn't happen to us up there. So our little bit of protest would seem minor compared to the Berkeleys and the Columbias of the world, but that's the best we could do.
So, in knowing that, you know, other universities, you know, compared to Penn State, were kind of ahead of the game in, you know, activism and, you know, pushing for demands, I was actually got a chance to watch a video clip, and it was, I think it was like 1968, 1969, and it was on the Black History PSU website. Yeah. And the guy who was speaking, I guess the reporter, he described Black students as Black militants. And so in that term, you know, how in hearing it now and looking and reflecting back on your position in protesting and knowing what it actually was at the university, how does that term kind of sit with you, knowing that that wasn't really the case for, you know, Black students at Penn State at the time in their protests and their activism?
Well, if he viewed us as being militant with how we were, that would be a lot of praise. We were not that militant. We were angry middle-class kids. You know, most had cars, most were not struggling, none were starving. So I think they tried to impose their image on us of what they think we were. We weren't militant. Militant, they wouldn't have been able to handle militant at Penn State in the 60s. We were middle-class liberal kids having a good time and being angry about some things that we thought we're not being treated right about. But militant is far from what we were. If we had been militant, excuse me, I don't know that we would have accomplished as much. But again, that's my particular style. Some would say if we'd been more militant, maybe we would have gotten more. I don't know, because they had a lot of resources backing them up that we didn't have. They could call the state troopers. We didn't have anybody to call except K. Leroy Irvis all by himself. So we were not militant at all. I mean, taking over a building with kids that grew up in Cherry Hill and Camp Hill and Aliquippa, and they're eating their little, you know, tasty cakes that their mommy sent them, because back in the 60s, you couldn't get a tasty cake at Penn State because it was too far away from their shipping. So it had to be mailed to you in a care package. So, you know, I almost wish we were militant to whatever his image was of militant, but we were not militant.
Yeah, that clears it up, but it does also echo a lot of stereotypes that many people had about certain movements on campuses and how they viewed African Americans in their demand for, you know, rights and their demand for, you know, a fair education. So just to kind of turn it a little bit as we kind of come to a close, the Black Arts Fest. So that was in 69 May, where you know, how was that experience? What can you describe, I guess, you know, what that experience was like, and why that was important for African American students at the time to bring forth unity and celebrate Black culture, and what did it represent or what was it trying to express to the university and their, the administration on why there was a lack of or a need for, Black literature, more Black counselors, Black professors, et cetera?
Okay. I wasn't involved in the creation of it or the running of it. I participated and enjoyed it. It's like the same kind of pride most of us felt when Obama got elected. That's how we felt when the Black Arts Festival came on campus. It was like, wow, we can do that. What else can we do? And those who put it together, I mean, they did things that I wouldn't have even thought of bringing someone up or having a particular display, or the presentation was just, it was fantastic. It was enjoyable. I mean, it was like nothing we'd ever seen before. And we just felt, wow, we are fantastic. If we can pull this together with a little bit of money they gave us, and we had to all kind of kick in kind of to cover some costs and such. If we can do that with that little bit, wow, what can we do if we really had an established funding that they do for all the other things on campus? Because I'm not sure if the Black Arts Festival didn't trigger what started off the next year and the year after was this is kind of an art festival campus-wide that I think is still going on now every summer. That might have given them kind of the roadmap on how to do certain things. Because in my mind, I just kind of viewed it, got morphed into that and absorbed. I could be incorrect, but it was fantastic. I mean, it was just like, wow, that's the only way I can describe it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, even in looking at some of the pictures that are preserved or that were preserved in the archives at the library, it looked as if you guys were having a ball, and it wasn't just for Black students. One of the Daily Collegian articles mentioned it wasn't just a thing for Black students, but it was also a method to educate white students and white administration on why African American culture and literature and music should just be celebrated on campus.
Right.
So in looking back at your legacy and your some of the memories that you and experiences that you made at Penn State, I know that your niece went to Penn State, and she kind of created, or she not kind of, but she created the Sovereign magazine, which is still present now.
Yeah.
So even in noting that you left a legacy at Penn State and your niece left a legacy at Penn State, what do you think, as you reflect, like how do you see that your legacy has improved, or even you can assume or kind of just think about your niece's experience at Penn State? How did that your legacy make a difference for other African American students to come, and also just students in general to come to the university?
Well, being that I came from a very small high school, and my niece basically graduated from that same high school X number of years later, that it didn't matter that your sending school was small, that you can go to Penn State or go anywhere and accomplish as much as you want to accomplish. You just have to focus and concentrate and just do it. I know that you think coming from a small high school to a big university, you're going to kind of be drowned out, little fish in a big sea. But you can make that sea as big or as small as you want. You can be the big fish in your mind, and in that way, you can accomplish anything that you put your mind to. Because one of my sayings, what is the worst they can say to you? No. Until they say no, you just keep pushing, keep going forward until they say no. And no is only a detour. You just kind of go around that no until you keep going for that yes, keep going for that yes. That's how you make your accomplishments, big or small, for yourself and then for those who might be coming up behind you or might be right beside you. And sometimes you're doing something for someone who's ahead of you, you know, so you just enjoy yourself, do the best you can, and it always does work out if you have a goodness in what you're going after. If you're bad-minded, bad things are going to happen. If you're good-minded, good things will eventually happen. Maybe not right away, but eventually. So that's what I would say.
So looking back at, you know, your younger self, when your mom was putting you at the forefront and of the picketing events and putting you, you know, making you sit in or at the diners and being, you know, told, no, we're not going to serve you. Do you think that, you know, that prepared you for the moments that you experienced at Penn State? And do you kind of like thank your mom, or have you thanked your mom, like, you know, years prior, like after you ended up graduating from Penn State and then graduating from law school, thanking her for pushing you and allowing you to experience that while young, so that when you were old, when you heard, like you said, no, there's another way around that no, I'm still going to, you know, get to where I need to get to, even though you told me no?
I think so. And yeah, I did thank her in my own way. Yeah, I did thank her. Because I would go after a particular objective or target, and it's more because of what I wanted to accomplish. I got involved in politics after I graduated law school, in addition to, you know, practicing law. And one of the things was they were talking about the gifted program for kids who are gifted, and they should have special this and special that. I said, well, if the kids are so special, give it to the regular kids also. You know, unless you're giving them some special medicine that is curing an illness, if it's special knowledge or a special technique, present it to the regular kids too, so that they can appreciate your understanding of literature or of art or resolving a particular math problem. Present it so that they can enjoy it too. I got involved in various other legal things. I was involved with the Legal Aid Society in Montgomery County for 25, 30 years, which provided legal services to those who couldn't afford a lawyer. I did a lot of civil rights cases, police brutality, employment discrimination, sex discrimination. So yeah, my mother did get me started on this thing of don't let someone put you down. You only can put yourself down. You may not accomplish it right away. You may not accomplish it the way you thought. But if you keep going after it, you will eventually accomplish some good. You may not climb the whole mountain. You may only climb part of that mountain, but at least you got to make that effort. You cannot not try. So you have to make the effort.
Yeah, I think that's the motto, like I said before, to live by, you know, just keep working towards what you want. And I think sometimes in life, detours can kind of seem like, oh, this is the bad thing. Like this is bad. And, you know, for myself, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the world, but not looking to it as, oh no, this is another opportunity for me to learn something new, or, you know, find a new method on how to get there. So the final question I have for you is, if you could summarize your college experience in a phrase or even one word, what would it be and why?
I would say, and this is going to borrow, because I met this person. There's a history behind the phrase "we are," and it stems from a Black football player back in 1947. His name, was triplet. And I forget if it was either Walter or Perry, because I met them both. Penn State was supposed to play a game. I forget if it was in Texas or Florida, but because they had black players on the team, either that other team didn't want to play or the hotel didn't want to accommodate them or something. And then the Penn State players said, if he's not playing, we're not playing because we are Penn State. And that's how I feel when I hear good things about Penn State. I say, we are Penn State. And then when I hear bad things about Penn State, it hurts. You know, the whole thing with the football team and that hurt. But just like a family, because when you go through to get to Penn State, you are part of a family, whether it be the Black community or the bigger university community. When good things happen, you are happy. I mean, we had our astronaut. We've had other fantastic accomplishers, but then you have this Deborah Burke with Dr. Fauci. She's from Penn State. And a little on the disappointed side about her now, but initially I was very proud that she was from Penn State. But then, so you have this, the phrase would be, we are, you know, whether it be my niece being up there, my son was there, my daughter was there, my brother went there, my ex-wife went there. I was there. So you kind of get that feeling that, you know, it's a big nuclear family and then an even bigger nuclear family. So there's a sense of pride when you join the Alumni Association, if you haven't already, when they start seeing the little magazine every 2 or 3 times a year, one of the things it'll say is, we have the largest living alumni association in the world. We could take over countries if we wanted to. That's how big we are. But yeah, it's a pride. It's you know, just like, you know, a herd of lion is a pride. There is a pride in having gone there, and you know, I'm not ashamed to say that. I get disappointed, but I still have a more overwhelming pride than disappointment.
Yeah, I think, you know, like you mentioned, being in a family, there are ups and downs. There are moments you're just like, oh no, what, like, why this? But I think those good moments kind of outweigh, you know, the bad moments, and it allows you to continue to say we are, even amidst when it kind of seems as if we aren't always not, you know, I can't get my words, when we may not always be on one accord,
right,
but we still are one. And I think you are still tracking that, you know, legacy here, even in taking the time to be interviewed and be a part of this project, to still say that we are, and the story, your story matters to Penn State, and your story matters to other people who will get a chance to listen to it. So Mr. Thompson, I just want to say thank you for your time yet again, and just an opportunity to listen to your story and listen to your experience, and gain some, you know, some gems, another, you know, some more gems for life, but also take what you said and really hold it to value, because knowing that I am a beneficiary of some of the things that you know, kind of helped implement, including, you know, the East Hall, you know, little store, because they still have it now. It's kind of, you know, one of the best stores on campus. Well, since I was there. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, they re-renovated it, but sorry, you know, I I was saving it for the end. I had to save the best thing for last, you know, but it is really nice. One of the best, you know, Pollock has one, and sort of North, and I think some other places, but so West is really nice. Yes, West is really nice. But you know, even in that still lives on today. So thank you so much for you know, this opportunity.
You're welcome.
All right, so